Holy icicles, Batman. It's cold outside. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Hopefully, you've had a good week. Here's our final task for this week. All right. And so I'm going to do a walkthrough with you. I'm calling it Tweet the Deets. All right. And it's part of our project conversation, which we will talk more about next week. And I'll give you kind of a bigger picture look at this. But for now, we're going to go back to Tuesday. All right. And on Tuesday, um, you did the questions that matter task. All right. Remember, that's where you chose from the 181 questions. All right. Questions that mattered to you. You posted them into a table. And then you explained why those questions mattered to you. And if you remember, there were two categories. One was the persuasive group, and then the other was the reflective group. All right. And what I need you to do is I need you to choose two questions overall, but one question from each of those groups. All right. And then I need you to paste it, copy and paste it into um, the appropriate space here in this table. All right. So post your persuasive question here, post your reflective question here. All right. Then next, I'm going to ask you to respond in a tweet. All right. And for those of you who don't know what a tweet is a message of 280 or fewer characters that's posted on Twitter. All right. Um, and a character is defined as any letter, number, space, punctuation mark, or symbol. All right. That can be typed on a computer. Okay. And though a tweet can be as short as one character, my challenge to you is to do what I have done with my example tweet and do exactly 280 characters. Now, I think it is going to be for your sanity muy importante that you use this character count tool that I have given you a link to. All right. And it'll take you to this. All right. And so this morning, this is where I wrote my example. Okay. And this is what you want to pay attention to down here are the characters. All right. And so to 280. So see, when I backspace here, I go to 279. All right. And I'll be honest, it took me a little while to get here. I had to change some things, as you will have to also. My advice to you is to keep it is to go a little long because I think it's easier sometimes to trim it than it is to extend it. All right. And so anyway, you'll play around and you'll figure that out. All right. But please use this tool. Otherwise, it's a pain in the butt to try to count the characters on your own. Okay. Going back to this, and again, you can get to that tool by linking right here. Minimally, make sure that your tweet responds to the posed question. All right. But this is the challenge, okay, to you as writers. All right. With your tweet, make a first impression. All right, which I mean by that, get attention. We'll talk more about that next week. Address the question and do that by providing a why. And I say address the question, not answer the question, because I imagine these questions matter to you a lot and they're big questions. And so it's hard just to give a simple response. A lot of the questions are no and are yes and no questions. So don't just simply say yes or no. Of course, you have to get to the why and make a final impression. And what I mean by that is make some kind of impactful insight at the end, share words of wisdom, etc. And then please include a hashtag and include a hashtag that conveys a particular tone. Okay, I actually use two hashtags in mine, mostly because I needed to get to my character count. All right, and so that's another great way to get to your full character count. But hashtags also can be very powerful in terms of conveying not only context but also conveying tone or creating context, but also conveying tone. All right. And I want you to try to do that all in exactly 280 characters. This is where you'll get to practice being concise with your writing. Okay. And then please see my example and explanation as a tweet for why I am having you tweet. All right. And so I'll just go over that example really quickly. The question that I'm posing here, just for the sake of example, is why are you having us tweet, Sai? All right. Please know, and I'm going to share my response here in a moment. I'm not asking you to join Twitter. I'm not asking you to become a tweeter, but I am asking you to consider that communication has changed significantly as the world has changed. All right. When I was your age, Google didn't even exist, much less Twitter and all the other social media platforms. Oh, and the internet didn't exist for that matter. And so things have changed. Okay. And so as your language teacher, I think it's important that we quote keep up with the times to some degree. All right. And so with that, here is my tweeted response to the question: why are you having this tweet site? 500 million, a half billion. That's how many tweets will be sent out today and tomorrow. How many were sent out yesterday? That's the average. All right. That's a half billion forms of communication. And whether it's on Twitter or other media, all right, that we use. Okay, communication has changed since I was your age. When things change, we have to change. Hashtag the world has changed. Hashtag new way. All right. So that is why I'm having you tweet today. All right. I'm asking you to do two of them. And I'm asking you to kind of rise to the challenge a little bit in terms of making that impression, addressing the question or that initial impression, addressing the question, making a final impression, and then including a hashtag, all in exactly 280 characters. All right. So hopefully you find some value in this. All right. And hopefully it's not too much of a stretch to get you to really think about the questions you pose, because you selected them because you indicated that they mattered to you. And so this will be kind of that first step that we're going to take with these questions among several steps that we will be taking with these questions in the near future. All right. Hopefully this is fairly clear and straightforward. If not, as always, please make my day and ask me for help. All right. Later, mis chicos.